Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Anime Club with your hosts, Josh, Isaiah, and Noah. My first question for everybody is: how is everybody doing today, man? It's been a while since we recorded.
I'm feeling really good, Josh. Honestly, it has been a while. I know me, have done a lot, but I'm very excited to be back and just talking about One Piece. How about
And hey, I'm doing great. I'm here on my phone, so I'm gonna be a little scuffed, but we're here to talk about One Piece, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, yes, indeed, guys. Because I will say, man, it's definitely been a while, and I know Isaiah, you mentioned we've all been busy and stuff like that, doing our own things. But now this is the official start, season 2 of the Anime Club. So we're going to start off right with the back. I know we really wanted to talk about One Piece for this one. This podcast is going to be all One Piece. So Isaiah, my first question for you is, we can get this conversation rolling, is so when it comes to One Piece in this latest chapter, what are some things that you want to talk about right off the bat? What's on your mind?
I think a big thing when it comes to, at least with this recent chapter, is one, Zoro's lit. Two, King's design is amazing. But three, I think not just this chapter, but with the last few chapters, I'm really impressed to see all the power ups that Zoro and Sanji has been getting. It's kind of good to finally seeing them catch up a little bit with Luffy. I'm expecting to see like another form or something with Luffy at some point within this arc, but for now, I'm just glad to finally see some development, specifically with Sanji, and I'm sure we'll get to him in a second. But Zoro, great work. Finally, we see him beat like a first commander level person. We see him with these conquerors hockey. It's great to see from a Zoro fan.
Yeah, Noah, would you like to add anything, or how do you feel?
I mean, yeah, I think Isaiah really summed it up perfectly. Like these last chapters, Oda has been feeding us just banger after banger after banger, and I mean, obviously, like Zoro's hype. Don't get me wrong, but I think Sanji has really stolen the show these last few chapters, and it's. I mean, people are saying it. You don't even have to lie. Like Sanji is really one of the most, one of the best written characters in the show, and the fact that he just completely stomped Queen once he just stomped Queen. Like it was so amazing to see Sanji be on that level right there, and really, like I think that really made Sanji and Zoro a lot more relative to each other, and I think it like made that point clear that these two are close, and then Luffy's the one that's gonna make that jump to be like, all right, here's these two, and then here's Luffy at the top.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. I know with this chapter, like I know both you, Isaiah, and also Noah have really pointed out, Zoro's also a big part of this latest chapter. Sanji's also had his moment in the beginning of this chapter. So I think that's what we can really start our first conversation with, is Sanji, because even the previous couple chapters before this one, before 1035, Sanji has really stolen the spotlight. Like his battle with Queen, and even before, I'll even take it back because I know it's been a while since we recorded a podcast and talked about One Piece. We'll even take it back before their battles even like originated. I remember when Zoro and Sanji each had a talk where it's like, hey, like this is our time now. And I know I remember our last conversation we talked a little bit about that. And that was before the fight. And now you're seeing Sanji's growth, you're seeing Zoro's growth. So we'll start right off with Sanji. So what do you guys think about him overall now? Because I know from our last conversation, we definitely were like, we need to see more from him. What do you think has really happened, and how do you guys really feel when it comes to Sanji's growth?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we could take it all the way back to Thriller Bark for a second when Sanji was telling Kuma that, hey, the Navy doesn't think too much of me right now, but I'm gonna become one of the most dangerous pirates on this crew one day. And I think Sanji showed that in these last few chapters. Sanji showed that he is one of the powerhouses on this crew, and the fact that anybody can say that there's another character on this crew that's part of this monster trio compared to Sanji is crazy. That man is a menace. We don't even know what the E3 Jamble is going to look like when we see it, and what that entails with all that. And then just the Queen fight in general. I think the flashbacks with all that, like with Queen copying all his brother's moves, and just that whole like development throughout that. Oh, chef's kiss. Like Oda really, like, it's just amazing, like how much growth Sanji has seen in just these few chapters alone, and then just how he can add on to already the amazing like growth that Sanji's going through already. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels like with Sanji specifically, Oda really has like a soft spot for his character. And I mean that's a good thing. I think he's had some of the best development out of like all the Straw Hats. First of all, he takes a lot of time with them, and with that, I think that we're seeing him grow as a character, not only in power but just with morality and everything, slowly, but probably more delicately than like any other character, minus like Luffy, obviously. So, it's good to see. It's cool that we don't need to see the raid suit anymore. He actually is doing all this stuff because of mutation, and it. I'm sure we'll talk about like like the him possibly hitting girls and stuff. That's a whole nother thing. But power wise, it's really good to see Sanji finally get some shine. Because honestly, we've been seeing like this high, like I don't know, his high potential since like I'll say like Whole Cake, and then he really like took the cake. Like everyone was like, Wano's gonna be the arc. This is Zoro's arc, but no, this is Zoro and everyone else's arc. Like he's doing his thing. You feel me? So it's really cool.
Yeah, and I would like to add what you guys are saying. I remember finishing Whole Cake. I was like, I felt like this was, like you said, like this is supposed to be like Sanji's arc, but I was also like, I didn't really. I mean, we got introduced a little bit of the Germa suit, but I was just sort of just like, I kind of want to see more. And the fact that with this Queen fight, we have shown so much. We have seen so much growth when it comes to that. Like Queen being able to, he tried to slash Sanji with his sword and just it broke in half. And Sanji's ability now to turn invisible as well, even without the raid suit. And even at the end of the fight in this chapter in 1035, when the mouse at the end, making sure that the woman was okay, like that still shows
beautiful.
Sanji's character as well, even though he fears that now that he has the Germa abilities now that he's going to turn into like his brothers, like emotionally as well, like very like careless and doesn't care about anything. But the fact that he still was able to like show her the mouse and stuff, make sure that she's okay before himself, that's okay. It's still showing a lot about his character. And that's another point that I just wanted to add when it comes to Sanji is we're seeing so much more physical strength, but his mental ability as well, and the way how he is in his personality that's really what brings him out even more. And I will say I was expecting a little bit more out of Whole Cake, but we've gotten all that when it comes to Wano. But Isaiah, I know you mentioned that you're worried about him hitting girls now. Why do you think that? Why is that crossing your mind?
I mean, so first of all, I don't even think Sanji hit a girl. Actually, I think this is like all hoax. Like I think this was meant for him to think that he did when he really didn't. Now that we know Queen has the ability to go invisible or something, I feel like it was Queen just trying to throw Sanji off. I mean, obviously he's going through some sort of mutation. You see his eyebrows like reversed now, like his brothers and his sister. He's like he can finally do all these moves like the steel body, and he can go invisible, and he can do all like the German stuff without the German tech. So it makes Sanji, I guess, go through like this mental battle of like, all right, like, am I losing myself within this? And he's telling Zoro like, hey, take me out when you see me if I'm doing some wild stuff. But he's really not. I really think that this is just all like a trick. To make the viewers feel like, oh, like Sanji hit a girl, he's like going through character development, even though like I don't know why weird fans think that he needs to hit a girl for character development. But okay, Oda's like, all right, here's your bone, but he actually didn't do it, idiot.
Yeah, I
thought
Oda confirmed that Queen. I thought Queen was like, I thought Queen already said he did it.
Oh, okay. See, I totally missed that, but that would make the most sense. Like it's like they're trying to trick the fan base for a little bit, thinking, oh, Sanji's going through character development. It's like you don't need to hit women for that, Sanji.
Yeah.
So it's like
what?
Get out of here, you weirdos. But
that'd be reverse character development for him. Like
absolutely,
send him backwards so far.
Thank you. You're saying everything I've been thinking.
Like literally, if Sanji hits a woman, they should have just let Germa kill Zeph. Like, come on.
Thank you.
Agree.
Like I never understood that argument, but yeah, I'm happy with the way he's being developed. Like I said, if not better than Luffy, he's close to like Luffy levels of like development. Like I think
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
really cool. You know, yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, and I will say, because I know Noah mentioned a great point in the beginning of the podcast, like before the Queen fight and before like we've seen so much of Sanji's development. I know there was talks about like the monster trio and like, oh yeah, like is there someone that's actually challenging the monster trio now in Luffy's crew? But now after seeing like their growth for both Zoro and Sanji, and then we're gonna see from Luffy, obviously, when he fights Kaido within the next couple chapters. I feel like I agree with Noah's point from the beginning. There's no discussion now. Like this monster trio is definitely solidifies itself as the monster trio. There's the monster trio, and then there's everyone else. And it's not a knock on Jinbei and others. Like they're all strong characters.
Exactly.
But now there's the monster trio, and then Luffy, like you said, Noah, in the beginning, is after this fight with Kaido, is really gonna solidify himself compared to Zoro and Sanji. So I just wanted to really add to that point as well. And I agree with you. Know, I think that was a very interesting point for you to add in the beginning of our discussion.
Yeah.
So continuing with, I know we mentioned with Sanji, is there anything else that you guys think we missed so far when it comes to Sanji, or do you think we hit everything right on the nail?
I mean, I personally think that we've got to everything in regards to him. I mean, I think we're done with the Sanji arc, with at least in Wano, at least, because I mean the only thing I can see them talking about at this point with him is like him and Zoro meeting up and like he's still questioning himself. But I think that we've hit like the ceiling so far, at least with Sanji's character. I don't know if there's even past this, like I'm not sure what the next move is with him, obviously like finding the all blue and stuff, but yeah, I think that Sanji's on a good path so far.
I feel like to look on like the lighter side, like to make a joke out of it, I feel like when Zoro and Sanji do see each other again, I feel like Zoro will see Sanji do something like questionable, quote unquote, and like start attacking him, and they might have like a little like dialogue, like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I told you I was acting up, I'm fine, like kind of something like that, just to think on the lighter side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you guys as well, because we're seeing so much character development now where it's sort of like, we know that Sanji's probably not going to get Conqueror's Haki. But I mean, like, his already power-ups now, though, are so powerful already that, like, no, like you said, even, like, Throw or Bark, like, he's going to be, like, the government's going to be eyeing him because, I mean, he doesn't need the suit to have all these abilities. Everyone's like, what the heck? You know? So he's definitely going to be targeted by the government after this arc, and every Straw Hat probably is, but Sanji in particular, he should get a big, huge boost in terms of his bounty.
Yeah.
But transitioning a little bit, I know we pretty much covered everything when it comes to Sanji. Well, now it comes to this Zoro and King fight. So my first question for you guys is, do you want to talk about Zoro first? Do you want to talk about King first? Because these two were definitely the highlights of chapter 1035. What are you feeling in terms of that?
I mean, we might as well talk about Zoro first. Since we just like literally spoke about Sanji, we can talk about Zoro.
True. I agree. We might as well. You know, you go from Sanji, now we're going to First Commander
Zoro.
Yeah,
actually, honestly, I had something to say about Zoro. Can I say real quick?
Yeah.
And it's not even it's not like a shot at what you said, Isaiah. It was like we were both saying. Everybody was saying like, "Oh, you think Sanji stole the flame?" But I don't think Sanji stole the show. And I think Wano is still very much a Zoro arc as far as I'm concerned, especially with the tidbits of like the swords that Oda gave us. Because look, it wasn't a big Zoro flashback, but any Zoro flashback is a good one, and that's what we want to see. And we want some more juice because we know there's more behind this man's story. We know there's more behind why this man is so special. But Oda's just giving us those little droplets of and I couldn't have loved it more. And I think the flashback to Shimotsuki Village with his swordsmith who created the literal demon sword that's perfect for this demon like man, like it's I think it's amazing how Oda can connect something from 1,030 chapters back to 6. Like it's a masterpiece. Like it's masterful. Like how do you even do that? Like it's crazy. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
No, and that honestly leads me right to my question. So like when it comes to, because I really wanted to talk about that Zoro flashback because it's like we haven't gotten one in ages. It's been decades since we have
Except
gotten
for
one.
seeing Kuina.
Yeah, obviously, except for that. So how did you guys feel when you saw that flashback? We can start with the Zoro talk when it comes to that flashback.
Well, first of all, I thought it was really dope because, first of all, I wanted to say how I feel like this is, if it's not Sanji's ceiling, it feels like this is Sanji's ceiling. This is Zoro's whole cake. So, like, we're finally jumping in to like who Zoro is as a person, his background, his lineage. And first of all, I thought it was dope that you see that guy who looks like Zoro. We don't know necessarily who he is in specific, but I think that he is really cool that he has like ties in Wano. I mean, we all knew it was from Wano, we just wasn't sure. But to see, you know, the swordsmith and all like the Wano warriors who actually came from there and moved to the East Blue and all that stuff, it's opening like the pathway for a lot of Zoro information. Power wise, because like obviously he just got conquerors and he's probably going to make one of Kuina's sword like a black blade and all this other stuff. But outside of that, just him as a character, it's opening the path for like a lot more information on him, just so we can see who he really is. I think it would be cool if like you see on his bounty and stuff, I'm calling him Roanoa Zoro, they call him like something completely different when they find out what his last name is. I'm not sure what that's going to be. But I think that there's so many opportunities for him as a character now. And it's just dope to finally see Zoro catch up with Luffy a little bit, because it's like, all right, you know, Sanji has his Beckman, Kaido has his King, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Everyone has their right hand man, but Zoro's finally starting to establish himself as like a worthy like right hand for Luffy, and it's fun. I like it.
And can I build off that real quick? And I think building off that and going back to the flashbacks with the swords, I think Zoro has now such a great understanding of swords, and I think that, along with his Conqueror's Haki coding, like really shows us a clear picture that Zoro is on the way to be the world's strongest swordsman. And it is very clear in sight. He is looking at it. He's not there yet, just like Luffy's very raw with his Conqueror's Haki coding and everything like that. Zoro, this is showing us that these black blades will come soon. And I think I really love the explanation of the cursed blades and how there are no cursed blades. Like, these blades are meant to kill people, and that's what you should be doing with them. And they're not cursed. They're only cursed. And if you think they're cursed, that kind of weakens your mental, and that gives the sword control over you. Like, you have to accept the sword and control the sword. I love that. That just more in-depth explanation about swords, because we've always known that swords have their own personality in One Piece. But to get a little bit deeper dive into that was really cool to see.
Yeah, and I completely agree with both of your guys' points as well. And I really agree with you, Noah, too, when it comes to like the swords and understanding your sword. I definitely think that is a very key component, especially if you're going to be a swordsman. It's like understanding your sword's personality and being able to control that. And I definitely think we're going to see more of that as Zoro learns to master his Conqueror's Haki, learns how to master Emma, and learns how to understand all of his swords and stuff like that. And another thing that really took away from me when it came to the flashback was the idea of like the one-eyed swordsman. I heard that. I was like, yeah, there's like back roots to there, and Zoro has one eye, and I was like, now I have a kind of like off question a little bit, because I know there's talks about Zoro opening his other eye, or like his big power up and stuff like that. Do you still think that's a possibility? Like, I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to that now, after seeing like the flashback and everything that's happening.
I feel like that would feel a lot like that one dude from Bleach. Kenpachi Zaraki. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we still don't know how he like hurt his eye in the first place. It could be like Mihawk or like a monkey or who knows, but I don't think that's gonna be too much. I feel like that eye has to be done, like unless he has like something he's been hiding from us, like he's like on some what's the one dude on the Marines who blinded himself?
Fujitora.
Yeah. Let's say he's on some Fuji type time. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy. Everyone's probably gonna have these theories, and then we get a flashback, and it was like a damn monkey or something. I don't know. But how do you feel, Noah?
I think I'll stay on the opposite side of this spectrum and say that Oda doesn't do things for no reason. And I feel like eyes are a big thing in One Piece. Low key. It's very low key, but eyes are a very important thing, especially with the swordsman in One Piece. I feel like eyes are very big when it comes to the swordsman of One Piece. Speaking of Mihawk, like Cavendish, who else? Somebody else. And I think, like, because we haven't seen that flashback, that I can't rule anything out of what the eye is for yet. Only because we haven't seen anything yet. So I feel like I give Oda the benefit of the doubt in that sense. But if he shows me a monkey cutting his eye, I mean, I'm not gonna be angry about it, but I'm gonna be like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
Like the sky is easily the limit. I'm just afraid it's gonna be like how people were like, how did Luffy get that scar on his eye? And then you get the flashback and he accidentally stabbed like under his face or something. So like
I'm not super hyped for it, but I'm not like I'm in the middle. I'm not gonna give up on the theories, but I'm not really concrete on them either.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I completely agree too. I just wanted to throw that out there so that way you guys can really. I just want to see where you guys are thinking when it came to that. But like, I know with the whole Wano arc, we got a lot more of Sanji's character. I know with Zoro, we finally got a flashback. Do you guys feel like, what do you guys think are the missing parts still with Zoro? Because I feel like, I know we mentioned with Sanji, we feel like when it comes to his development, this is pretty much the peak for Sanji. Whereas with Zoro, I know for myself, as I'm reading, I'm like, I'm getting an idea of like his backstory. I'm getting more of an idea on him, but I still feel like there's more that needs to be added. That just might be how I'm feeling. But what do you guys think? Do you guys feel like anything is missing when it comes to Zoro's development right now, currently?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, this is like Zoro's whole cake, right? So Sanji's whole cake, we got everything. And to be fair, we never really got Sanji's backstory in general, so I get it. But Zoro's, we got like a tidbit. Like, I mean, we saw the queen and all that stuff. We never got to see how life was for him after the fact, or how he was moving during his bounty hunting days, for example. Like, we don't know a lot about his life or his family, etc. So I would like to see a little bit of that, as well as when we get to the point after this, wherever we go. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to have to get some kind of understanding on how conquerors work. I'm personally in the party where I feel like he's going to make Kuina's sword a black blade, like, and make it like one of those high class swords. I feel like he's going to be the one to do that, because everyone's sword has like ambition, and since he doesn't have his own original sword, this sword's ambition is to become the strongest sword for the strongest swordsman. So I'm expecting that to happen at some point. And lastly, you know, his dream obviously is to be the strongest swordsman, but I think that before that even happens, I think Luffy has to be the king of the pirates for him to be satisfied. So
I like that. I like that too.
Yeah. So there's just a couple things that I want to see his story wrap up. Like with Sanji, I literally just see him having the final all blue and he'll be fine. But with Zoro, there's like still a lot of factors that have been like unanswered yet. So yeah.
I think I would say I don't think Oda's done with Zoro and Wano yet. And I would only say that because there's still the swordsmith, what I can't remember his name, who made his Sandai. No, he made the Sandai Kutetsu, right? What's his name?
Yes. I don't remember his name, but I know you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, yes.
Yeah.
He knows about like a lot about Shimotsuki, like the Shimotsuki, this and that. So I feel like he might still have some information to give out to Zoro, and as well as Hyogoro, because like it was quick, but Hyogoro did mention the one-eyed swordsman. So I feel like Hyogoro's an old guy. He's seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? He's been through the ropes of Wano for a long time. So I feel like Oda may not be done with giving us a little bit more Zoro. I still feel a possibility that we could get a little bit more.
Yeah, and I agree with both you guys' points, and I really like that point that you added, Isaiah, when it came to like Luffy has to be the pirate king first for Zoro then to be like the greatest swordsman. And I like that theory that they're sort of like intertwined. Their goals are pretty much similar. One wants to be the best swordsman, one wants to be the best pirate. You know what I mean? So I can definitely see those parallels coming, because yeah, I just remember like as I was just reading this chapter and I've been reading the past, I'm like, we've gotten a lot of Sanji. We understand really a lot more of Sanji, whereas with Zoro, I just still think there's still holes that need to be filled. So that's what led to the question. I really like your guys' conversation when it comes to Zoro and stuff. Now,
And
yeah. Oh, you got
oh,
it.
sorry. I just want to add one more thing to Isaiah. And I think to solidify Isaiah's point even more of that is like going back to Luffy and Zoro's first meeting when Zoro's like, hey, if you get in my way of my ambition, like it's all hands off. And then fast forward to Thriller Bark, Zoro's ready to die because his ambition means that, like, and then now even further on, I think that just solidifies the fact that Zoro will see Luffy become the king before him and Mihawk have their face off, whoever it may be. But I think Zoro has shown time and time again that Luffy is like he has the most undying faith in Luffy, obviously, compared to any Straw Hat. So it's like I couldn't agree with that statement more. I think that's so poetic that it would be in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just it just summarizes their relationship perfectly.
I completely agree. And now what you guys, my next question is, so sticking with Zoro, is there anything else that you guys really think we should really drive home when it comes to Zoro in these previous chapters or even this current chapter?
I feel like I really feel like there's at least one more thing that I'm expecting from Zoro. I'm expecting to see Zoro and Sanji meet up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Sanji go through his like mental battle. I think Zoro's gonna like put him back to reality. I think that this is gonna be one of the few times where they're on the same page. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's either potential for them to get involved with Orochi because I think Zoro still has the potential to be the one to kill Orochi.
I like that.
And there's also a possibility that they run into anything CP0 related because, you know, Brook and Robin are being hunted down right now. So there's still potential for Zoro to do something significant. But in terms of big battle...
Oh, wait, no, they're not. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Drake and the Pooh, remember?
That's right. So let me scrap that. And then, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but there's still Zoro kills Kaido theory out there. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think so.
I mean, you know, there's some people who still believe it. So, I mean, I'll put that in the universe too.
Noah, anything?
I mean, there's really not much to say. I mean, Zoro's a demon. I feel like it's really just been like Isaiah was saying, like this is like Zoro is the first commander. Like Zoro is the first commander of the Straw Hats. Like there's no debate about it. He's his growth, and then I think just especially in this fight with King, how quickly he deduced King's powers and really adapted his fighting style and his plan to win the fight so quickly. And so I think that just shows not only his battle growth, his battle IQ, and just how much he's ready to be that right-hand commander and that he's on that level to really fight these people one-on-one after, mind you, this is after taking an absolute beating from Kaido. Absolute beating from Kaido. And look, King and no disrespect to King and Queen, but they were getting handled by Marco. And then Sanji was still 2v1. And no, like Sanji was obviously getting beat, but like as far as we've seen right now, I think Marco is the strongest first commander. Marco is an actual animal. He's fighting two of these bulls 1v1, 1v2, fighting Big Mom 1v1 for a little bit. Like, but I mean Zoro just does Zoro things, and you know he grows at an exponential rate, and it was amazing to see.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like the sky's the limit still with Zoro. And like I said, I like your point, Noah, about like his battle smarts as well, because that was definitely a highlight in his chapter. He was able to figure out King's attacks. He's like, oh, I figured out when you get a little faster with the flames, you drop your guard. Like he figured that once he figured that out, the battle was over.
Yeah, it was a low diff. Oh my God.
Yeah. So now transitioning a little bit, I know we got a lot of Sanji content. We got a lot of Zoro content. Now let's get into a little bit when it comes to King, because I know this was definitely King's chapter. We got a backstory about how him and Kaido met. We finally got to see his face. So my first question for you guys is, when you guys are reading about King, how do you really feel about King, and what are some thoughts that come to mind?
I think for me, when I saw that and I read that interaction, I think it just made me want to ask a million more questions. Because, like, King and Kaido were obviously with Vegapunk and Queen in this government facility. And then it also begs the question is Sanji part Lunarian? Does he have Lunarian blood in him? Is that why he can light himself on fire? Like all these questions arise because, and like, what is Kaido doing? I mean, obviously they copied Kaido's fruit, but like, what is Kaido doing in this government facility? Like, what was he? Was he a warlord? Like, how did he end up in this spot so casually talking to King, someone who they're supposed to be experimenting on in this government? Like, you know what I mean? Like, tell him, oh yeah, we're just going to break out of this place. Come be a pirate for me. You know what I mean? It begs so many questions. I think it was like one of the really like coolest parts of the chapter because Oda just kind of threw it in there for a few seconds. Like, oh yeah, Kaido broke King out of this like experimentation facility. But it's like, how did they end up there? How did they get there? Like, there's so many like questions to be asked after that. So I thought that was a really cool part of the chapter, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just had to pull it up the chapter to see what he looked like again. Like, first of all, King looks so cool without his mask.
Oh my goodness, so good.
But I think it's interesting that he was hiding his face for so long because I'm like, something going on there. And I feel like, first of all, I don't think King's dead because one, Oda's horrible at killing people, but two, he's a rare Skypian race that literally we just got introduced to. So
the last of his kind. No way.
Absolutely. And I feel like King and Queen, and even though he's not as important, who's who will still be relevant within the series. Because King has a lot to do. We saw we just saw a tidbit of his backstory. And you got Queen has ties with Judge, and I'm sure possibly Caesar and all those other scientists. And then you got who's who. Literally, he was in CP, and he seems to know a lot about the sun god and all this stuff. So it's like there's a lot going on with those three specifically. So I don't think that we're done with King like at all, actually. But I think that we're done with seeing him fight. Yeah. I do question why we kept getting this whole pterodactyl head move. Like, I feel like he was just toying with him when he could have did this whole Imperial Guardian of Fire dragon move this whole time. Like, I'm like, why are you messing with him? Like finish him. Like, why are you playing around, man? But I like King. He's a cool character. I really do hope that we see more because I will say fight wise he's up there. But in comparison to like Katakuri, for example, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Ben Beckman. We've gotten a lot of Marco. Like, out of all of them, and I'm sure we're even going to see more Shiryu, but out of all of them, King feels like the less developed.
I agree. Not very many attacks. Not very many. It was pretty like clean, like not boring, but it's just like you expect more from a first commander. You know what I mean? After the first commanders we've already seen, like. We're at the beast part, like the king and the beast. Like, he should be, you know what I mean? Like, because Queen was doing cool stuff. Was it really affecting Sanji? No, but it was cool though.
Like, I feel like I actually saw more of Jack and Queen, and even who's who. Like, I saw a lot more of these other characters than I saw of King. So hopefully, that's just a sign of like King has like something important that they're trying to hide. Like, if you even remember, Big Mom was like, hey King, join my crew, and I was like there's something there. I just don't know what it is yet. So it's like, I'm hoping that we get more King content because I feel like he has a lot to offer the series.
Yeah, and there was a point that I would like to add as well, because I know you mentioned a couple things from what you guys both mentioned. I agree with both of you guys. I definitely as I was reading the chapters, I felt a little disappointed because he is the first commander and he's also Kaido's right hand man. And we already know how powerful Kaido is. Like, literally, like he probably the strongest like physical character in the series so far that we have seen. And that is his right man. And we didn't really see enough of those attacks. But an interesting point that I wanted to add is when his mask did get ripped off, immediately like everybody in that battle just like stopped and looked like, yo, that's the guy that they're experimenting on. And then he just blasted them all with fire because he's like, you guys can't know my identity and stuff. So just to add to your point, I definitely think we have not seen the last of King. We're going to probably hear a lot more about like his race and everything that's happening with him. Like, and I agree with I had so many questions because I was like, so Kaido just barges in and is like, yo, man, be my right hand man. Let's get out of here. They get out of a government facility.
Exactly.
There needs to be more there. I definitely think this chapter was I think Oda was throwing just a little sprinkle at us a little bit, and we'll get that more probably later in the series. But I definitely was left with more questions when it came to when I was reading the chapter yesterday. I was just like, man, like, how does this even happen? I need more answers, but I definitely think with time we'll get that.
I think it's interesting that they start showing that all of like King Kaido subordinates, minus like Jack, maybe, are like have some like they all have like something in common with like experiments and science and stuff. And it's like they just announced the SSG recently, and it's just like, what is like Kaido, some like Robin Hood that just goes around saving people from like scientists, like. But then I also remember Orochi asking for like Vegapunk early in Wano, so it's like maybe there's something there, like with government and Vegapunk. Who knows? Like I feel like there's we're nowhere close to like being done with these characters at all.
Oh yeah, and there's still the big secret is to why Kaido chose Wano. Why Wano? And what does Kaido know? And I think that takes us back to the government facility. How did he get in there? What does he know? He knows about Joy Boy. He knows about like this, like he knows a lot more than has been led on to. And he knows that Wano is this special spot. So I can't wait to hear why Kaido has chosen this spot, why Wano is so important. And obviously we will hear that, but I think that adds on to the conversation to be had.
And also why CP0 is willing to be cordial with him.
Yes,
like, there's
exactly.
a lot going on there.
Exactly. There's a lot of underlying things going on right now. We don't know who's working with who. What's going on? Like
when it was Whitebeard, they're ready to go to war. When it's Kaido, they're willing to listen. It's a little sus. Little sus.
Yeah, definitely. And that leads me to the next question. Like, what do you got? Like, how do you guys see this series moving forward when it comes to that Kaido relationship? Because I mean, you made a great, that's probably like the quote of this podcast, like Whitebeard, they go to war, but Kaido, they listen. So elaborate a little bit when it comes to that, Isaiah. What do you mean by that?
I mean, Oda's brand is not killing people, right? But I feel like with Kaido's character, it's been highlighted on multiple times that like his ambition is to have an honorable death. Like he looks at people like Whitebeard and Roger, and he says that those are pirates that he respected that went out on their own terms in a quote unquote honorable way, like, you know, leaving their mark on the world. I think we saw at the beginning of the chapter, Kaido was very suicidal, trying to jump off Sky Island and all this stuff. Like I feel like Kaido cannot leave Wano alive, and I don't really know how he plans on doing that, because it's like Kaido's been captured by the government, by other Yonko. He's been defeated before. He can't even commit suicide. So it's like, I don't know what the plan is there. I don't know how they plan on killing him if he can't even kill himself. He literally tries to commit suicide as a hobby, and he can't make it work. So I don't know how they plan on killing Kaido. But I mean, I feel like Oden probably could have did it, so it's not impossible. You know, it's just, I feel like it needs to result in him dying, and I feel like it needs to be in some sort of epic fashion where he leaves his mark on the world. I don't feel like this is going to be something that the world doesn't know about or know how it happened. I feel like it needs to be broadcasted somehow. So it's like, unless he has like some legendary dying words, or maybe he exposes something about the One Piece that he knows about, because he keeps hinting on knowing stuff about Joy Boy and all stuff. Like, I feel like he's going to drop, maybe he could even drop Willa D knowledge. I feel like this guy knows a lot of stuff that he's not telling us. So it could also be something with Rock D's it back. There's so many options. I feel like he's going to, when he goes out, he wants to go out just like Roger did with talking about the One Piece, just like Whitebeard saying the One Piece. He's going to say something wild that's going to really shake up the world, and those Marines are going to get bothered too, because they're all there too. I forgot about them. So it's like something's going to happen that he's going to shake up the course of the world. It's going to affect everything. I'm just curious about what it's going to be.
And I think along the lines of that, I think it would be, I don't know if it's a complaint because the arc's not over yet, so I can't complain yet. But I feel like seeing a young Kaido in this flashback with King makes me want to see a young Kaido then. What was he doing? How did young Kaido end up? Like, it goes back, like we said it, but like, what was young Kaido doing? And it goes back to like the whole, even Big Mom, when they first came in, telling Kaido, you owe me your life because I gave you your devil fruit and I saved your life that day, whichever day that was. Like, what was going on there? And I feel like those are things that need to be hashed out. And because I agree, Kaido shouldn't be leaving Wano alive. And if he does, I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's like those things, I feel like they need to be hashed out a little bit more as far as the why Kaido knows what he knows and what is this event between him and Big Mom? Where is this connection? Like, obviously they were on rocks together, but it goes deeper than that.
I fully expect to see, just like how we got a lot of Oden content, like a whole arc worth, like I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of like chapters about Kaido and like, you know, I want to see who Yamato's mother is. I want to see what his life on the Rocks crew was like. I want to see how he came to this resolve. I want to see how him and Shanks fought. Like I still want to see how Shanks left alive without stopping it, without this man getting killed. Like there's a lot about this dude and he knows a lot. And I also want to see what happened when he discovered whatever he discovered. I want to know why he hates Whitebeard so much. There's a lot to him. And I'm very curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I definitely think that once Luffy and Kaido start fighting, I definitely think we're going to start to get flashbacks during their fight as well. Because I definitely think, and I definitely think moving forward, that's what's going to answer like a lot of our questions when it comes to that. Because I agree, just like with similar to King, with Kaido as well, like I just feel like we're just not getting enough information because this is Kaido that we're talking about, like everybody said, like the strongest guy. Like, how did he get there? How a lot of like science experiments have been implemented on a lot of his crew members. How was he able to get them out? You know, so it's like we're probably going to get a lot of those answers done probably within the next 20-25 chapters, because we already know the Luffy versus Kaido fight is going to be definitely a lengthy one. This is definitely the final showdown between the two of them. So and Oda definitely has a great, because I'm even thinking, even with like the Luffy Katakuri fight, like that fight was definitely long, but we got a lot of Katakuri backstory when it comes to that. So it's like Oda never disappoints when he comes to that, and I definitely think as they do fight, we are going to see a lot of Kaido flashbacks. But Isaiah, I know you wanted to add on.
Oh yeah, the last thing I want to say is he's been alluding to like he was betrayed by someone. He keeps saying pirates can't be trusted, they betray each other, and it's like I feel like he really like I feel like Rocks took this guy out of like something really bad, and he was just like betrayed to the point where he just can't look back and like trust anyone anymore. And and then you look at like his relationship with like, for example, Big Mom. He made an alliance with her, and then when she went down, he's like, I don't care, like whatever. Like he was ready to do that. But then you look at him, and he seems to really care about his subordinates. Where like, for example, if you remember when Jack went down, that's the first time I've seen Kaido have an emotional reaction to want to defend someone. He was willing to defend Jack before he was willing to defend Yamato, which I was like, what? So it's a little crazy. Like he obviously has a lot of trust with his three commanders specifically. I just want to see where he fosters this relationship. I don't know what his relationship with Queen is because they've never really interacted, but with King and with Jack specifically, it looked like he trusted them a lot. So there's something there. And then I also want to see why he's doing all this stuff with the smile fruits, because it's like, what is your plan there? That's a little suspect as well, because it's like you're willing to put all these people through crazy like transformations and stuff after you literally save these people from getting experimented on. So what like there's a lot of backwards logic with this guy. You know, there's a problem.
He definitely was traumatized to the point where he's even contradicting his own words and his own actions. But I know we covered a lot when it comes to Kaido, King, Zoro, and Sanji. I know, Isaiah, we've had conversations about, so everything that's taking place now in Wano, what the hell is happening with Shanks' crew? And I wanted to really end this, like, I feel like this would be a great topic to end the podcast with. when it comes to Shank's crew and Blackbeard and all that, for me personally, I think that they're kind of in the mix of a battle on their own part. That just could be my theory though. But I want to know, what are you guys feeling? What do you think Oda's gonna do when it comes to Shanks's crew? Because I know we've been waiting to see Shanks's power probably the whole entire series. So I just wanted to give you guys the floor when it comes to Shanks's crew. How are you guys feeling?
So once we leave Wano, Luffy will be walking into a mess because there's a lot going on outside of Wano, obviously.
Mhm.
But your question about Shanks, I don't know what the move is for him because Oda said Shanks will be moving. First of all, I don't know what the plan is because we're getting literally a movie called One Piece Red. So
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to be canon to the story or not. Like, what's going on with that? So that's one thing. Two, this guy went to the elders talking about you need to worry about a pirate. I'm assuming that's Blackbeard. Obviously, he scarred him on his eye. Obviously, Blackbeard's no joke. So there's something there that Shanks is worried about. I think Blackbeard's eventually going to kill this guy. So there's something there. And I think it's hard to predict, honestly, because one, Blackbeard seems like he's on the move to go get something. I don't know if that's a devil fruit from Sabo. I don't know if that's an ancient weapon from like anywhere. I don't know if that's the poneglyph from literally from where what's Vivi's country name?
Alabasta.
Alabasta. That could be, since there's no one there, since it seems like Cobra's probably dead. That could mean Fishman Island. That could mean a lot of things. I don't know what Blackbeard's specific plan is, but he seems to be ready to do something crazy. We could see Blackbeard pop up in Wano and do exactly what he did to Whitebeard. There's a lot Blackbeard could do. So I don't know what Shanks is planning on doing because it seems like, I'm not gonna call him a snitch, but it seems like he's like worried about Blackbeard right now. Like there's some people who think that he was like some sort of warlord before, and that's why he has such good rapport with the government. So it's like I don't know what his plan is, but obviously first of all, the Straw Hats need to meet the Red Hair Pirates at some point, just because, not even because of Shanks, but Usopp and Usopp.
Yes.
That's the thing that's tying them in for me. But after that, after they meet up, I fully expect the Red Hair Pirates to die at some point, just like Jiraiya died for Naruto or something. Like they're going to die at some point. I just don't know when it's going to be. Like when Luffy comes out, he has to either go save Sabo, or he has to go to Elbaf, or he has to go worry about what Big Mom's going to do. Or a kid could be a foe again. Or he could go save Boa Hancock because she got captured. His allies, there's Alabasta. He's walking into a mess. And the Red Hair Pirates they seem to be worried about Blackbeard, who's also on the move. So it's like, what is his plan? Is Blackbeard going to show up in Whole Cake and go steal Pudding because she can read poneglyphs since no one can get their hands on Nico Robin for some reason? The world government seems to want Nico Robin. Big Mom seems to want Nico Robin. Why can't Blackbeard go steal Nico Robin? There's a lot of people on the move, so I don't know what he's going to do. But he's going to die some point, and he has to get ready.
Noah?
Yeah, I mean, like Isaiah was saying, it's hard to predict a man who you've seen about 10 minutes of. It's really hard to predict because he's unpredictable. He's the most unpredictable man. Honestly, he really is. We're fighting at Marineford and he shows up, and then we're walking up on the Gorosei and he's the one talking to him, and he's the one telling him and almost not calling the shots, but he, like you said, he's respected, and it was known respect, just like with Sengoku obviously letting Shanks go and letting him take Whitebeard and Ace's body after Marineford. It's so hard to tell what this man is going to do because he's such a wild card. And I think it's a testament to Roger being his mentor. I think Roger was the biggest wild card there was. And I think Shanks really molded himself from that. And I think he took the more serious route of it, obviously, because he's defending something, or he's withholding something from everybody. Or he knows something that we all don't, obviously. So it's like I feel like he took the combined of like Rayleigh and Roger, like he built that together and was like that's the kind of guy he is. He's very analytical, but at the same time he has fun, but he's very serious. So it's hard to guess. He could go anywhere, and if we're going off the the pattern, he definitely has been trying to stifle Blackbeard. So I feel like him and Blackbeard, that we may see a clash between them, because he's the guy that it's seemingly he's been actively trying to like hinder in his journey for whatever say for Blackbeard's journey to being the Pirate King, or that's not what he wants, but he wants it just so he could handle the world, really. But it's like, you just gotta wait and see. I mean, the movie, like you said, we don't know. Is it going to be canon? Is it going to not be canon? I hope it'd be canon. Like, I mean, but at the same time, I won't care because we get to see more Shanks. But obviously, I hope it'd be a little canon in there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe how he got to where his status in the world, or any form of Shanks content is good. But yeah, I mean, I really couldn't predict anything. There's so many ways he could go. He's an enigma. You can't predict him.
And real quick, Ryan actually said, I don't think it was because he's a warlord. Do you think Law could walk in and do that? Here's what I'm going to say something. One, Shanks and Law, there's huge different levels of like Shanks actually respects. I mean, the warlords actually give a little respect to Shanks. But yeah, I do think he could just walk in there, because literally Blackbeard just walked into Impel Down, the quote unquote most locked up like jail without coming. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the government's not good at what they do. So it's like, if they could just walk in there and do that, if Whitebeard could literally just walk into that whole war area, like, these people are literally just Buggy and all of them got over the gates of justice and stuff too. It's like they're not good at their job. So yeah, I do think that they could. Saba, literally the revolutionaries just snuck in.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Bonnie. Jewelry Bonnie's not anyone to be scared about. She literally just snuck in.
She kind of low key. Bonnie might be the best espionage like person in the series, just because like she can really change her body and appearance like completely.
Yeah, true. So it's like, but like, just because she said that she's someone, you didn't even check to see if it was actually her or not.
That's true.
Like,
that is true.
Oh, that's Jewelry. That's the queen of the blah 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 kingdom. Okay, just because she said so. Like. The government's not actually good at what they do, so it's like, but I hope One Piece Red gives us like a they never experiment with this, but I would like to see. Oh, Ryan just said exactly what I'm thinking. I hope it's like about like Shanks' past, to be honest, and just seeing like the formation, just like how we just had this whole Ace novel about like how he started out. I would like to see a movie version of how Shanks started out. And kind of poetic. There's just a quick like note. I hope Buggy, since he's like not a warlord anymore, I want to see him join the red hair pirates and just see Buggy and Shanks and all them, see Blackbeard again, since we just saw it. They met each other when they were kids during the Oden flashbacks and stuff. But that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and I will say, from like a side note, when that movie does drop, we have to do a watch party at some point.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have any idea when that movie is gonna drop? Is it like next year or maybe a couple years?
I would probably say next year at the earliest.
Okay, yeah, because once that movie comes out, because like you said,
August 6th. August 6th.
August 6th. Okay.
Yeah,
because I will say no, because Shanks is an enigma, like you said. Like, we have no idea.
You never know.
You never know what he's gonna do. So having a movie specifically about him is definitely a good way to go. So that way we all get an idea of like, who the hell is Shanks? Because I know from chapter 1, I'm still like, who the hell is he? What is his power? How can he just show up into the war and just the whole war stop? So I think having a movie about him is a great direction, and let's hope that it's canon and it's not like the My Hero Academia movie. And I'm still going to talk about that, Isaiah, forever. That My Hero Academia movie.
Such a disappointment.
And what was I going to say? Along the lines of Shanks and like his introduction, like knowing nothing about him. And I think that's a perfect explanation. You meet him this first chapter, like, oh, look at this happy-go-lucky pirate group that's influencing our main character here. And then you see him in Water 7 a few hundred episodes later, and he's one of the most notorious pirates on the sea. And it's like such a flip-flop, because it's like you see the village welcoming them so wonderfully. And it's like obviously a foreshadowing to how Luffy and his crew are going to be and how they have been. Obviously swaying the hearts of every country they enter and, saving it on the way out, per usual. But it was so cool to just see, like, we don't know anything. We didn't know anything from the beginning. Even what we thought we knew, we didn't even know. You know what I mean? It was just like you never know. And you love that. That's why people love him. That's why we love him. We don't know.
Yeah, and I will say we'll end that point there. So when it comes to you guys, I know we talked about a lot when it comes to this podcast overall with One Piece. We started with Sanji, then we did Zoro, King, Kaido, Shanks Pirates. Is there anything else, guys, that you guys really think we should talk about on this podcast when it comes to One Piece?
I think we literally covered everything, honestly.
The only thing I want more from Wano is the only thing I definitely want is I want Frankie to be stealing all the Queen's tech. That's it. If Frankie does not steal some of this man's tech, I'm going to be upset.
It annoyed me because they were like, "Oh, Frankie was like, it needs to take. I'm gonna need like 2 weeks to come up with all this like Kaido killing like weapons."
Oh yeah.
Stuff. Where is this? Where are the
weapons at, Frankie?
Like, I haven't seen any of the weapons.
Is that the sleeper? Does Frankie come in for the kill here?
Like, I haven't seen any of the Kaido killing weapons. All the ships that he took a long time to make are down and destroyed. Because for some reason the samurai were like, "Oh, we need to destroy them once we get them here."
Hey, I respect the one-way ticket thing.
I respect it, but it's like, where are all these weapons that you took all this time to create?
I mean, when it comes down to it, too, the ships would have been obsolete anyways because Onigishima's flying. So
I'm just like, well, like, was that a lie? Like, where are the Kaido killing weapons? I don't get it. There's a lot of talk on the Straw Hat. There's no Kaido killing weapons. I don't think Zoro's killing Kaido. Where are all the stuff at? So
I think Zoro, I think King's thing being like an Imperial Flame Dragon, I think that was like a homage to Zoro being like the Dragon Slayer. And as well, I think at least I'm a fan of Zoro being the one to kill Orochi because I not no faith in Komurasaki. I mean, in Hiyori, sure, it would be cool if she killed him. But I don't think I don't really see that happening like that. And I think Zoro's the perfect guy. Obviously, with their relationship, Hiyori and Zoro have already built. I think it's just good for Zoro. If Zoro dealt that final blow, I would like that.
In no shade, but the scabbards are not doing it for me. They keep getting manipulated by Kanjuro at that. It's like,
that was bad. I can't believe that kept happening. I was like, bro, stop.
He should have been dead after the first time. Then he came back up, and then they're completely making God, what was her name? The one chick. I don't know. They kept making her a joke. Like she just lost her arm.
Kiku? No, not Kiku.
Kiku just lost her arm. And then it was like, all right, I'm gonna take over. I got it, guys. And then you get finessed by a drawing after you know it's a drawing.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't like that either.
Or what about oh my god, sorry, I keep forgetting the scabbards names. What's the main scabbards name? Kinemon. He should be dead.
Oh, but you don't like the Punk Hazard explanation?
No, I don't like that he's squished now. It's like, bro, Oda, just kill people. He got stabbed. Yeah, just kill him.
He got hit with Kaido's strongest move.
That bothered me a lot.
And he got blindsided by it. He came out of nowhere and just nails him.
That really bothered me. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I still need to see Kinemon. Oh, I say Kinemon. I need to see God, why can't I forget all their names? I need to see Odin's son while he Momonosuke.
I was about to say Momoshiki.
These names are so annoying. I need to see Momonosuke. I feel like he's not going to be able to stop the island from crashing or something. Mm-hmm. And I need to see him on the rooftop with Luffy and Yamata. I need to see him in his human form because they say he looks like Odin. I need to see him looking like Odin. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if I feel like they're going to have to give him the other sword. And that's why it crashes down because the swordsmith guy is down there. Maybe it crashes, then he gives him the sword, then they kill Kaido that way or something. But I need to see Momonosuke on the rooftop with Luffy and them fighting. There's just there's still a lot to unpack here. They need to stop putting focus on that stupid fight between Orochi's right hand man though, and Rizzo. Yeah, like
What
why
was
is that
that?
like a highlight? It's so stupid.
What's going on
Like,
here? Yeah, why does that keep being highlighted? Why is that fight not over yet?
you want to know something? They like to off-screen fights. That's the perfect fight to off-screen.
Yeah,
Do
just show
not show
Rise
me
is
that.
standing over his body or something.
I do not need to see the earlobe dude fighting. Like
Yeah.
just keep it short and sweet. Like I don't
And
need
then
to
I
see a
think
Rise
I think on the Momonosuke thing, like Oda could like cheese and throw in that he like since he got aged, he like his hockey aged with him as well, because I mean Momo does have the breath of all things when you think about it, because he can talk to Zunisha. So it's like Oda could I wouldn't say I'd be a fan, but I feel like he could kind of sneak Momo like having hockey already in there. But at the same time, it wouldn't matter because like he would have to have Conqueror's hockey anyways. So it's like it's kind of a tough thing to do there. But it's like we definitely need to see, like, they better not age Momo back before we see what he looks like, or like something. He better stay. I don't want to hear the ripe fruit like only lasts a certain amount of time. I don't want to hear none of that. He's either 28 or they shouldn't have changed him.
I feel like we're going to be forced to come back to Wano at some point because of Smile Fruits, and I feel like that's going to be we're going to see Momo still there as an adult, and I think maybe Bonnie or someone's going to be able to change him back. But
Actually, you know what? I don't mind that. That's true.
You know, the possibilities are up there. But yeah, that's all I got to say, Josh.
Yeah.
All right, and I will say, man, we've had a really great and fun One Piece discussion. I definitely have missed you guys a lot when it comes to talking about anime and stuff like that. Isaiah, we'll start with you. Where can everybody follow you at?
People can follow me at 8Ball Bangers on everything, as well as see me on Rob Has a Podcast where I have Aux Court Approve, and I'm literally just talking about music there and reality television, so you can check me out.
Noah, how about you?
Yep, Soft Nona right there, down there. No nos with zeros, but yeah, on all platforms.
Yep, and you guys can check out my Twitter below at SANN_CHEZZZ on Twitter. I'm also doing a spirituality podcast / mental health. I know Noah was a guest on there one time. We had a great and fun conversation. You guys can check that out at Your Spiritual Best Friend. That's what I do on the side. And Isaiah, you can wrap us all up when it comes to where everybody can follow the show links and stuff like that.
Sure. If you haven't already, please follow us at Silent Podcast on Twitter, silent_podcast, as well as Twitch and YouTube. Every little follow helps. Thank you. And also, if you look into the description, you can also follow the Anime Club page. Please check that out. This should be on all the Silent Podcast feeds, as well as the Anime Club feed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other fun stuff. So please check us out. But until next time, we will see you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Peace.